Bámi, Adébáyọ. I'm a Nigerian writer. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and shortly after that, my family moved to a city called Ilesha, where most of my novel, Stay With Me, is set. Stay With Me is about a marriage. It's about Akin and Yejide, who have been married for 5 years and don't have any children. Now, when they got married, they were very much in love, but at the point where the novel begins, they've come under so much pressure that love doesn't seem to be the primary thing anymore to either of them. They both feel, for different reasons, that they must have children, and the choices that they make in order to do that. Akin decides to marry another wife, even though he doesn't love her, doesn't really want a second wife, but feels that it's going to reduce the pressure that his mother is putting on the marriage. There's an expression that we have among the Yoruba, among the Ijisha, which in the dedication I wrote to my sister, it's Oranukoro, which is you won't stand alone. And family is taught to be very sacred, and your loyalty to members of your family, people with whom you share blood, is very important to many people. So that for someone like Yejide in the novel, who grows up feeling that she doesn't really have a family, even though she has step-siblings and stepmothers, she doesn't quite have a mother, she doesn't have siblings. That gap is such a huge thing that propels her to want to build her own family and have this thing that she believes is so essential to being a human being. The interesting thing that I find, the more I read about Nigerian history, Yoruba history in particular, is that pre-colonial times, women occupied literally every possible position in society. So religion, in Yoruba traditional religions, you had women as priestesses. In royalty, you had women in the council of Hobas, for instance. After colonialism, quite a bit of that changed because we then began to adopt Victorian values, and some years after that, people started claiming that that was what was African. It's a mix of both now. I think that career-wise in Southwest Nigeria, it's a given. It's not something that is negotiated or is argued about, that a woman would have financial independence. The issue might arise if she becomes, in quotes, too successful. And then people wonder, okay, is she going to get married? What is that going to be about? And I think that it still speaks to the tendency to think that a woman's existence is not valued unless she is married or she has children. So it's a very complex. In many ways, most Nigerian women are very strong, very accomplished, and very ambitious and driven. And on the other side, there are all these cultural perceptions that sort of attempt to limit how far many women can go and how they can be in the world. Being published, it still feels very surreal because it's a story that I've carried with me for quite a long time, almost a decade now. So it feels strange to hear other people talk about it. That's the way it feels right now. And getting longlisted for the Bailey's Prize, quite frankly, I'm still stunned, just totally and absolutely in shock to see my name alongside so many authors whose work I admire and have thoroughly enjoyed. It's quite an honor. Shocked. Yeah.